Hey everybody, this is Cynthia from Chiefology, where we help leaders and organizations go from good to great and from great to rock stars. We are in the middle of a series that we're doing. We hope you caught the first video, but if you didn't, please go back and take a look at it. We're doing the 1, 2, 3s of executive leadership. So today we're talking about the two factors that create a yin and yang of leadership. Yin and yang are often described as seemingly opposite and even contrary forces, yet really can be thought of as complementary and interconnected. And that's the notion behind them, is that with one, you really can't have the other, and vice versa. You need both in order to have the whole. And that plays out in organizations also. It's true in nature, it's true in organizations, it's true in our leadership. But the particular yin and yang that we're going to talk about today is people versus process. I also like to refer to this as relationships versus task. So whether you prefer people or relationship or process and task, same notion. And there are a lot of different thoughts out there. If you look at the literature, you're going to see many different opinions. You're going to see many different articles. And it's not a right or a wrong answer to this. But it does warrant looking at. So for example, there are those who advocate that it is people first, that it is exclusively about the people that make an organization special. And as a result, they pay tremendous attention to the hiring practice and make sure that they're hiring the best and the brightest, and that they're bringing the best and the brightest in, that they're onboarding them effectively, that they are managing performance, that they are developing them, they're giving them opportunities to move up within the organization. All of those are phenomenal practices and things that organizations should be doing. Some organizations might exclude focus on the process and put more weight on the people side. So on the other side of that are those who believe that processes are what make all of the difference and focus their time, energy, efforts on ensuring they have solid processes. There are those who they think that way, they therefore act that way within their organizations and focus more heavily on processes. So it's not about either or, it really is and both. And in general, it's not even a heavy weighting one way or another, but it really is about creating that balance. It's about having both in balance. Looking at the people side of the equation and looking at the process side, or the relationship and task. And so ensuring that you have the right practices to address both sides of that equation. If you're interested in learning more about that, I do have a checklist for you that I would be happy to send. And it can give you insight on what are those practices that you should be looking at relative to people and to processes, and see where you might be leaning. Are you leaning heavier one way or the other, or do you have a balanced approach? And hopefully your balanced approach is highly effective, that you're doing the majority of these practices as opposed to doing minimal on both, and therefore you may have balanced, but you might be underperforming in these areas. So if you like that checklist, please reach out to me. Just send an email to connect@chiefology.com and request the people process checklist. That's it for today. Please tune in again, and you will have our third installment of the series in the 1, 2, 3s of leadership effectiveness. And the third is going to be on the 3 critical transitions on your path to the C-suite. Thanks, and see you next time.